Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike Harrison, and I want to welcome you to Networking Buddies that is hosted by Jenny Dumont for the International Networking Week in 2014. Jenny Dumont is owner and certified trainer with Referral Institute Mid-Michigan, and she's been a leader in referral marketing for 10 productive years. She also serves as director consultant with BNI, the world's largest referral organization. Jenny is known as a lifeline to businesses who struggle to generate consistent and proactive referrals. She helps them grow their businesses and to live their lives happily ever after. She's also the international best-selling author of the book Bold is Beautiful, and you can read more about her book and referral marketing training opportunities at jennydumont.com. It is my privilege and honor to recommend to you right now Jenny Dumont. Jenny?
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that, and I'm so excited to be kicking off International Networking Week here in the Michigan area. This is one of the first years that we really taken an opportunity to celebrate what international networking has to offer. And this year's theme is Who is in Your Room? Meaning, if you had to choose who would be in your room, and that room only had one door, and you could only go in, meaning you couldn't let anybody out, would you be a little bit more particular and specific about who you would let in your room? And it's just something for you to think about. And, in fact, Dr. Ivan Meisner goes into a little bit more detail about the book, Who's in Your Room, and at internationalnetworkingweek.com. So there's a short video there that I encourage you to go and check out. So today we're going to be talking about networking buddies. And I want to start off by giving you the definition of what networking is. And networking is one of those buzzwords that you hear all over the place. Hey, you can go and attend this, and you can even network with people. Hey, we've got a networking event going on over here on this day and this day, and all over the place. But what does networking really mean? It definitely doesn't mean attending an event and collecting a bunch of business cards, because business cards don't really mean anything without a relationship behind it. So Referral Institute's definition of networking is the process of developing and activating relationships to increase your business, enhance your knowledge, expand your sphere of influence, or serve the community. It definitely isn't an opportunity for you to sell your product. You need to build on relationships to activate, to generate referrals from your network. So let me give you if you could just picture walking into a networking event. You're all by yourself, and the room is buzzing. People are talking to each other. They're in groups, and you walk in and you don't know anyone. And what do? You make a beeline. Okay, where's the coffee? Where's the Coke? Where can I go to feel like I fit in? And you look around the room and you find the table. Oh, great, I can go get some water, and that'll save some time with me having to not know anyone. And you spend the first 15 minutes looking for a seat. Where do you put your stuff at? Okay, so what's the agenda? You might spend some extra time in perusing information at the table, and you're not really engaged or actively networking with people as the definition states. It's a little uncomfortable, and you're not really quite sure who you're going to meet. What kind of people are there? And, somebody just told you this would be a great place to come, but now you can't even find that person. So you might be feeling a little uncomfortable. Networking is about building relationships, but it is a whole lot better if you know some of the people that you're networking with. So how different would that opportunity be if you walked in with somebody you already knew, that you already had a fantastic relationship with? They knew what you did. They already liked you. In fact, they might have even worked with you and utilized your services and products and you for them. So what if now you walk into this networking event, you don't know anybody, but the person you're with does. They know most of the people in that room because they invited you to come with them. So now you have the opportunity to be introduced to people that you didn't know. And since networking is about increasing your knowledge, expanding your sphere of influence, or serving the community, now you are getting to enhance your network with all these new people that you get to meet. The keys to having a networking buddy is very simple. You do have to invite them. First and foremost, you can't have a networking buddy if you don't invite them to join you or if they don't invite you to join them. So what's one of the best ways that you can find out what networks they belong to? Maybe sitting down and talking to them on the phone or sitting down with them face-to-face and asking them, hey, what other networks do you belong to? I know we go to the Chamber of Commerce together, but what other networks do you belong to? And you find out what networks they belong to, and they do the same for you. And, would you mind if I attended with you at some point? I'd love to get to know more about that opportunity. And they're fine. That would be great. Would love to. So now you've got a plan in place as to where you're going to go network together. Then, at least a day or maybe even a few hours before the event, you want to exchange an email or a phone call and say, hey, listen, I'd really love to meet a couple of specific people that I think attend your networking event. Specifically, and you would name the names. Could you help me get introduced to them? If they've been attending that networking group for a while, chances are they probably know who they are, especially if they're kind of more known people. So because they already have a relationship with you, they're going to say, yeah, of course, I'd love to. Great. I really would love it if you would introduce me this way. Just give them a sentence, just introduce you, or maybe talk about how we've done business together. Warm them up a little bit for me. So you've set a goal. You've found the place that you're going to network with your networking buddy. You've set a goal of who you want to meet. And now you walk into the room together and you're prepared. And now you've got your networking buddy beside you who is kind of your rock. And they're going to introduce you to some very key people in the room and edify you. And the worry is gone. The key here is, though, that you do need to repeat that with them and offer the same thing. Hey, I'd love to bring you to my networking group and introduce you to my network of people. These are the kind of people that are here. How can I help you? So when you have somebody that you can network and buddy with, it becomes almost obsolete to ever walk in a room and not feel comfortable because you've now got somebody with you at all times that can introduce you to people you didn't already know. The saying goes, we've heard the saying, two heads are better than one. And the same goes true when you're networking. Two people is better than one because then you're able to draw in a group of people that you wouldn't normally meet. Now, you might have these great networking events happening a couple of weeks, and you've got your standard networking buddy. Make sure you do branch out because you can't always use the same buddy. Use some different people because you never know who somebody else knows until you ask. The big key here, too, is follow up with the people that you meet. So you and your networking buddy are out there and you're meeting all these great people and you're exchanging information. Make sure you do follow up because it's part of the credibility of your networking buddy as well. So if you meet a new person they have introduced you to and you know what, they would like to get to know you better, make sure you do follow up because there's nothing worse than someone coming back to your buddy and saying, hey, I thought that person that you introduced me to was going to follow up with me. I haven't heard from them. So it's not only your credibility, but it's also your networking buddy's credibility that's on the line. So do make sure that you follow up. And not only that, follow up with your networking buddy. Hey, what worked for you? Was that good for you? Did you like the way I said that? Or maybe they didn't say something just right. Make sure you follow up with each other. What worked? What didn't work? What could you do better? What do you want to do differently next time? So what you'll find is when you have somebody with you to help you network, you're going to meet more people in the target market of the people you want to meet that you could potentially be doing business together. The key here is never try selling at a networking event because I guarantee you people aren't going there to buy something. They're going there to meet new people, to expand their network, enhance their knowledge, or serve the community. And then start there in developing your relationships and spend time with your networking buddy outside of networking events and getting to know them, because they could be one of your next number one referral sources, not just your networking buddy. So I hope when you're talking about, we're going to open up the lines here for some questions and about networking and utilizing a buddy, and I'd like to be able to offer some help with that. And I'm always interested in being invited to networking events throughout Michigan and being someone's networking buddy as I grow my business and serve the community as well. And I hope that you are out there networking with intention and being strategic about it and not overdoing it. Networking is a fantastic opportunity for you to meet new people, but if you try to do it too much, then you're never going to have time to develop a relationship for the people that you meet. So with that, I would like to open it up to any questions. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on about talking about networking and International Networking Week, you know, and we do have some other events that are going to be coming up. Mike Harrison, who introduced me today, is going to be leading us in a virtual or online referral success workshop on Wednesday. And we're really excited to be having that. It's the first time it's ever been done. So Referral Success 101 is meant to help you learn how to work smarter, not harder, and utilizing your network to help you grow your business. You'll discover what the 8 referral sources are and the 5 key steps to a referral process that every single time has to be met. Otherwise, you could be known as a pouncer. And I'm sure he'll be happy to share more. He'll be sharing more about that as well. And, you know, you'll be able to evaluate your effectiveness when you're networking too. So that's definitely something you don't want to miss on Wednesday if you're available. And the whole week we're celebrating International Networking Week. And all day on Thursday we've got a tip line going on where you get for 10 minutes before each hour, you're going to have the opportunity to get expert information from many different people in the area, including the other the other international Referral Institute franchise owner, Mike Harrison and Lynn Kolbeck, who are also on the call today, Tonya Aka, who owns down in the Michigan Southeast area. We've got some other experts from B&I, and you're going to be able to get educated during this networking week. The biggest thing is invite people to be your networking buddy. Get out there and bring them to your network. Show them how it is done, and then let them replicate it with you. And if you're part of a B&I group or any kind of chamber lease group, invite the guests. International Networking Week is a celebration to show people the power of referral marketing. So with that, is there anybody that has any questions about networking or utilizing networking buddies in your referral marketing efforts? Please just go ahead and speak up. I did not mute the line. And as I said, this is being recorded, so I'm happy to answer any questions with the last few minutes that we have.
Hi, Jenny. This is Roy Montero. I'm from California. How are you?
Hi, Roy. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on the call. And happy and sunny California.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a little warmer than the rest of the country here. Yeah, I've been reading a lot about networking over the last few years, and I forget who the gentleman was, but he mentioned something about selling having to do with being business friends. And I thought that was an interesting concept, that business friends. I wonder if you could touch on that. Have you heard the term? What does the term conjure? Can you help in that area?
Absolutely, Roy. And thank you for asking. I can't say that I've ever heard of business friends, but I can tell you that in Referral Institute, we refer to referral partners. And a referral partnership is a business agreement. It may not be written down like a contract, but it is essentially a verbal contract to work together to help grow each other's business by referrals. And that referral partnership becomes strong, and it does start with a relationship. And so it could generate or become a friendship. But it does start with a business relationship. You become friends. You want to genuinely help each other because you believe in what the other person is doing and why they're doing it. In Referral Institute, we focus on the emotionally charged connection, and people buy why you do it, not what you do. So when you are able to create a bond with another person and become a referral partnership, then you're able to have an expected number of referrals flowing back and forth from each other. It's always a reciprocal process. So and that is kind of how I see what your terminology of the terminology of business friends could potentially link to what Referral Institute trains on in terms of referral partners. Does that sound similar to what you're talking about, Roy?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I'd like to have a follow-up here as far as the depth of the relationship. Some people are just more, let's say, open to friendships when connecting with business partners, if you will, and others not so much. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like their personality type is, why do you want to know all this personal stuff about me? And, you know, especially so when networking with women, because they're just more open, and that's what I found through the years. So is there a line that you don't cross, or do you just go as deep as the other person wants to, and you try to follow suit, you know, responding in kind?
And you're right touching on the fact that everybody's behavioral styles are different in what they want to share. And depending on their behavioral style does depend on the level of relationship you have with somebody. So we follow the terminology of room full of referrals, and we focus on behavioral styles in networking. And we follow what we call the platinum rule, which is treat others the way they want to be treated. Because when you are able to treat others the way they want to be treated, they're more motivated to help you. Because then they feel comfortable and they're at ease, and you're using the words that really trigger something in their mind to say, hey, I want to work with you. You're speaking my language. And so I do think that you have to recognize that everyone is different. Some people do like to get more personal, and other people don't. So if you can meet them where they're at, you're more apt to get this, you know, build this relationship to generate more referrals. I would have to do some more research to find out about this terminology, business friends, to see what the definition is of that. Because of course, as friends, you do know about each other on a more personal level. Referral partnerships, you do know them on a personal level as too, because you're taking on their emotionally charged connection and wanting to genuinely help them because you believe what they believe.
Nice. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right. So that is something to consider when you're working with somebody. How deep do you go in the questioning? Because not everybody, they're very guarded, and that's not going to help you when you try probing them. But I would be happy to have that conversation
like my wife said. Sure, absolutely. Thank you for that, Jenny.
My pleasure, Roy. And how did you end up being on the call today? Who invited you?
Kim Smith. I saw a Facebook invite from Kim Smith. So, yeah, she was a networking buddy that I connected with several years ago. So we haven't been too close lately, but, you know, whenever I see her stuff, I love the social networking. So it's just, you never know. Got to be in the right place at the right time, right? Because you get all of these signals and noise, and yeah. So thanks, Kim.
Yes, thanks, Kim. All right, is there any other questions? Sorry.
Welcome, Roy.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions before we finish up for today and wrap it up with some final comments?
Hey, Jenny, this is Mike. Something that comes up often is when you're out there networking, whether you're networking with a buddy or you're at a mixer, how can you use your buddy at those networking mixers when you might have the awkward moment of a question that's asked that you don't want to answer, or somebody is taking more of your time than you really should give them? How can the networking buddy be utilized in those, I'll just call them awkward moments?
Yes, we've all had those awkward moments. You know, one of the goals that you should set up with your networking buddy before you get there is the number of people that you want to meet, the type of people that you want to meet, and, hey, by the way, what if we get caught in a situation where we can't get out of? This is the best way for you to exit the conversation. This is how you can help me, okay, especially if they already have a relationship with that person. So you want to talk about that beforehand. So I'm glad that you brought that up, Mike. one of the best ways for you to, as a networking buddy, when you introduce somebody that you already know to the person that you came with, one of the easiest ways to say, you know what, I'm so glad that you guys, got to meet. I want to make sure that I get her introduced to somebody else in the room. Is it okay if we maybe connect later? So you recognize the fact that you guys have a lot to cover, but you want to make sure that you are mingling around the room and introducing your buddy to somebody else. So you want to be respectful of that at the same time, but it's a great way. Or if you also bring in a third party is another way, or fourth party in that instance, bring in somebody else into the conversation and have an open conversation. And Mike, I don't know if this is exactly what you were talking about, but if you have a networking event, you have a group of people that has a closed conversation, meaning that their backs are to the rest of the crowd, it's really hard for people to feel comfortable walking up to you. But if you open up the circle, so to speak, it invites other people to come and join you, which could help you get out of that awkward moment. So I don't know, Mike, if that's what you were leading into, or if you would like to add something to it, because you're an expert in this as well. So.
No, I love your answer. That's absolutely great, because we've had those situations, and so being able to use the networking buddy, I think, is perfect to handle those situations.
Yeah, and you don't want your networking buddy to leave you. So make sure you make that ahead of time. You make that disclaimer ahead of time. Please don't leave me with somebody. The key is to stay together and work the room together when you're networking.
Hey, Jenny.
Thank you, Mike. Yes.
Hey, this is Karen Harrison.
Karen.
One of the phrases that I've learned in Referral Institute, and I'm not sure that this is an official term or whatever, but it's called tooting the horn. And so one of the dynamics that I love, and I'd love you to kind of go into a little bit more, is how do you toot the horn of your networking buddy while you're there, and vice versa? How do they toot your horn, and how do you train one another to do that?
Oh goodness, that's a lot of questions there. So,
sorry.
No, that's okay. And I only have 5 minutes left because we want to keep on schedule. But I will tell you, horn tooting is really great because it's done genuinely. So if you have a networking buddy, and, well, I shouldn't say if, when you have a networking buddy with you, they are usually people that already know what you've done, some of your accomplishments. They've worked with you in the past, and you've done a really great job for them, or you've recently won an award that they know about. So having a networking buddy introduce you by saying that, hey, I'd love for you to meet Karen Harrison. Karen is a health coach, and she just recently won a trip to Aruba, and I'm so excited for her because she really, really, really loves to help the people working with her to lose weight and get healthy. And so that's one way of horn tooting. It's an edification about something that you've accomplished, and it's a great way to introduce you because it takes the worry about whether or not this person is credible. And when you have somebody that already has a relationship with that person and they're horn tooting you like that, oh man, that just makes that relationship stronger, and it takes down the barriers, and it makes it so easy for them to have a conversation then. Mm-hmm. And how you can train them, of course, is doing that, making sure you have that phone call or that face-to-face meeting before you get to a networking event and say, hey, I'd really love to tell you about some of the things that I've been doing, and maybe we can utilize these in networking together. And can you tell me some of your accomplishments and how you want me to introduce you?
Cool. Thank you. That was cool.
Thanks, Karen. I know you know that information. I appreciate you bringing it up, so that's awesome. All right.
It's just a really cool skill set to have, I think, and I love that about Referral Institute is that it's just doing things better and different than most people think about networking.
Yeah. So. You're absolutely right, so thank you. All right, with that, go ahead.
This is Claudia Kerboy. I want to follow up on that one.
Of course.
If you're going to an event that you've never been to and yet don't have a contact there, and so you want to bring somebody with you, is it a good idea to bring somebody who's never been to that networking event as your buddy? And what would be the best way to go about the two of you,
Sure.
working as buddies when neither one of you has been to that event before?
So that's a great question, Claudia, and thank you for being on the call. My suggestion in that is do some research ahead of time. So if you are both going to this networking event by yourself first, if available to you, do some research on the organization and look at some of the members that could potentially be there and see if there is somebody that you already do know, and maybe send an email out to them or give them a call and say, hey, I'm coming to your event and I'm bringing somebody with me. Would you mind kind of being our host and helping us, because we're really interested, but we don't know anybody there, and I see you're a member of that group. So that's one option, is do some research about the members of who potentially would be there. When you don't know anybody, act like a host. Walk into the room like you already knew you were supposed to be there and greet the visitors as they walk in. There's nothing better a way to meet somebody than standing at the doorway and say, hi, welcome, so glad that you made it today. Or, hey, you're just acting like a host. Hey, do you know where the coffee is? It's right over here. I happened to locate it earlier. So if you see somebody looking around all by themselves. And you and your networking buddy can start networking with people just by acting like a host of the event. Getting there early and not being the last person in the room, but getting there early and having that presence about it. But by far the easiest way is just to do some research beforehand and find out who's going to those events that you do know.
Great.
I hope that helps, Claudia.
That's very helpful. Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So with that, we're going to wrap up the call, and I just wanted to remind you that International Networking Week starts today and goes till Friday. So make a point of finding a buddy and attending a networking event to help each other, and try to go to as many as you can, of course, and celebrate International Networking Week. And as Mike said, I will post on my my website, jennydumont.com, what events I will be at. And if you want to invite me to be one of your networking buddies, I'd love to hear from you. So thanks again for being on the call, and happy International Networking Week.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, Jenny.
I will let you know, too, this call will be posted, so you'll be able to play it back at any time or share it with anybody, and I'll post it on my Facebook page and my website.